Only reason why I'm doing this is so I could justify having this mustache to you. Yeah, so this is my Halloween costume and I have to wear this for a few more days, so I'm very sorry about it. How's it going, everyone? My name is Ville and I'm an indie game developer. Damn, it feels good to say that. I'm currently making an awesome frog game which you can already wishlist on Steam and soon on Google Play and the Apple App Store. So today's topic, I quit my job and started making indie games. I have always loved video games. Since I was a little kid, they were the best activity for me. But when I was a kid, it never struck me that you could make this into your career also. Not until I was 14 years old I realized you could actually make your own games if you wanted. I tried making my first video game and I immediately knew this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. I especially knew that someday I want to start my own company and start making my own games. So, for the last 10 years I have known what I want to do with my life. Why do I start this now and not 10 years ago? Well, you see, I started making games as a hobby 10 years ago and told myself when I have made enough games I can start the company. Then I went to a school and told myself when I have the degree I can start my own company. After school I told myself I need to get a job to get some more experience before I can start my company. I told myself I need to meet enough people to help me make my games with before I can start the company. And then I told myself I'm still not good enough to make games. Can you see some kind of pattern here? Finally, I realized I'm gonna be in my grave when I finally decide to start my own company. This was my biggest dream ever and I pretty much thought about it every day. Someday. Would you take the beef or the chicken? So this is my story. As I said, I started making games when I was 14 years old, and I instantly knew this is something I have to do. And I was especially interested in building my own company for making video games. I knew this was something I will do someday. I actually went into a college where I specialized in game development. At that time I also started saving money for the point when I'm actually going to start my own company. I attended many game jams and created many side projects of my own, but never really released anything commercially. After college, I couldn't get a job in games, so I got a job as a C# programmer in a software company. The job as a programmer was nice and super comfortable. I think I could have got stuck there for the rest of my life. But all this time I had this creeping feeling in the back of my head. This is not your purpose. In my free time I was still making games and was making some side projects with my old-time artist friend. Finally I thought, really, what is a better time than now, seriously? Do I wait for another 10 years? I don't even know if I will be alive then. I saved even more money to quit my job and finally launched the company with my friend. We already had our first project in mind, which turned out to be our first release, Soulbound. This was my side project that I had been developing for a year and a half while I was working as a software developer. We actually launched it a couple of months ago, and it's now live for the Play Store and the App Store. When I quit my job, I had calculated that I had saved enough money to get me through 2 years of living very modestly. On addition to this, I applied for a government fund for new entrepreneurs to help with their living costs while they start their business. Founding a company and applying for the fund took a lot of learning. This was something that was not taught in schools, but we managed in the end. Now we have been running our company for about half a year and released our first game. Financially, we're not meeting our expenses yet, but that is a goal for the future. So, should you do what I did? Most people in the internet will say this is the most stupid thing you can do. And you know what? They might be right in their own reality. For me, it really comes to what you value in your life. Do you value a stable job, income and continuity? Or are you willing to risk it all for an idea? An idea that is itching in the back of your head so bad that you can't just leave it there. There are a lot of people who will say that I'm stupid, I will fail, etc. And I think they absolutely have the right to say so. I even respect them for it. But the thing you have to understand is I have never been good at living in the so-called comfort zone. This is something I feel like I have to do. I would feel miserable not at least trying to chase my dreams. And many people would argue that you have to keep your day job before you start to make money from your games. I actually did that for a while. I was making games on the side mostly while I worked on my previous job. But then I realized I will never get this properly done like this. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and really start pushing this and start living my dream. And not just dreaming about my dream. My dream was never to be super rich or successful as a game developer or in any area of life. It was more like being an artist of some sort. A miserable poor artist using all his willpower to create something cool that he cares about, in exchange for material possessions. So this is what I never understood. Why would it be stupid to take the shot to actually do the one thing I really wanted to do in my life? So what if it fails? At least I can die happy knowing I tried to fulfill it. And I found my purpose in this short life. I acknowledge I am privileged in a way that I don't, for example, have kids, and I need to provide only for myself in this point of my life. I live in a first world country which allows this kind of stunt more easily. So I know 100% that this might not be so easy for all people. But my message still stands, I think. With all that said, I want to point out that I did some careful planning before I actually quit my job, and had been doing games as a hobby for almost 10 years before it. I don't recommend doing this if you don't have any experience in making games, or if you don't have a plan on how you're going to finance your life for the time that you're not going to make any money. So, this was my story. What I want to say to you, don't get stuck in the comfort zone. Go make cool stuff that you care about, and do everything you can to live the life that you actually want to live. And don't wait 10 years to actually start doing it. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. My name is Ville. I'm one of the 2 people here at This Reality. We're currently making our second game, Samago, which is a pretty nice game about frogs, coming pretty soon on Steam, Android and iOS. You can now wishlist Samago on Steam if you want. And if you found what I had to say interesting, please remember to subscribe to our channel for more game development content, as well as some information about how our journey running our own company has been going. Thanks for listening to my talk. See you on the next one.